So I'm going to hand over now to Dr. Violet Nour, who's going to give us a presentation about problem-based learning, which in her experience is an effective way of introducing student nurses to the ideas of using a problem-based approach to get information about nursing practice. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Good. So over to you, Violet.
Okay. Well, problem-based learning, and the other name is also inquiry-based learning or context-based learning, are the same thing. So the idea is to introduce the students to the problem and let them work through the problem rather than give them the theory and then let them go to the clinical setting whereby they will meet the problem. So it has, I think from my experience, it's a very short experience, but I found the students do most of the work. It's a self-directed learning. For instance, the class is broken up into smaller groups, and the smaller groups, they sit together and they work around one case study. They brainstorm and then they look at all that is they need to explore, everything that they don't know. For example, if Mrs. So-and-so was admitted by ambulance to emergency room, and so they look up at everything. They look up what does the ambulance service do? What does admission mean? What kind of forms they use for admission? And then they look at the medical problem. They look at the several medical problems, the psychosocial problems, and they try and find how these problems are being managed. So they spend a lot of time just looking up information. The facilitators, the teacher actually is a facilitator. She just helps them when they digress, so she brings them back to the core of the discussion. And so right now, I have a large group that I teach, but I cannot use the problem-based learning as I have practiced it in Canada. The students, I give them a case study and I ask them questions and they look it up and then bring it back to me and I mark it. Mm-hmm. That's how it works out. So I'm hoping to introduce this whole program, for instance, but we need a collective work, because the problem-based learning where I did it in Canada, the whole curriculum is based on problem-based learning or inquiry-based learning.